77 here, and I'm standing by with Sagittarically Speaking, and we are here with what did I name the program? Oh, Saturday Night Late Show. And
It's the after party. It's the speakeasy after party.
we do my jazz hands. Woo! Yeah, it's the after party. And if anybody didn't know any better, they would think I was drunk.
And then after this, we're going to do the after party.
The
And after that, we're going to do the after party.
yeah.
Yeah.
After party.
Yeah.
I see we got Chaos Reality. He's here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Chaos.
We don't have avatars. I won't have that program up until Shifty Sunday. But
We're working out the bugs little by little. We're not quite as tech savvy as Scarab's channel over there.
But anyway, we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to take these off because they look silly. But not as silly as what I was going to go on with earlier. Should I do it?
Hey, no holds barred on
That's what I
the after party.
That's what I was going to do earlier. Look, this.
Yeah,
is
you look like a semi-pro Rambo.
Look, this is a really old tie, folks. Look at this.
Now that is some serious meta art there.
Wait, where'd it go? Yeah, kind of looks like my grandma's kitchen floor.
Yeah, it's totally Uber-esque, man.
All right, I'll put it on, and I'll be wearing this during the rest of the broadcast, except people won't be able to see me because I have my camera off. There we go.
Oh, yeah, that looks way better.
Okay. Oh, thank you. What does that say about me? You saying I'm ugly?
Well, I'm just saying, instead of having one eye and one crazy guy, we got two eyes.
Oh, okay. You remember on the last show we did, I said it kind of looks like headlights.
Right? I can think of other things, but we'll just leave it at headlights.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at headlights. I know where you were going.
You do, huh?
It's late. It's late.
Well, it is the after party, you know.
Yeah. Anyway,
so who we got in chat? You said Chaos Reality, and who else?
There's Chaos Reality, and there's two lurking.
Okay, we got lurkers.
We got some lurkers.
That's what's up. Let's shout out the lurkers. Lurker number 1 and lurker number 2. What's up?
That was the easiest shout out I think we've ever done.
I'd agree.
Oh, well, there's Jocko. I almost called him Rocco. He says he can't stay long because he's got to get up early tomorrow. Well, thank you, Mr. Jocko, for...
Yeah, just thanks for stopping by. Any and all support is much appreciated.
Especially this late at night. Here we go. So we got some topics to dig into.
Okay, what would you like to talk about first there?
Well, first
Captain?
of all, did you just call me Captain?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better. No. First of all, I'd like to say that I might be dead tomorrow.
All right.
Because I think God's armor is plotting my revenge, his revenge, right now as we speak.
Oh, for mentioning the Rooster Crow thing?
Oh, yeah.
Did he actually do it? I missed that part.
Yeah, he did it. He kind of snuck it in there, but he definitely did it. He kind of snuck it in.
Yeah, I went to look something up that, you know, like a lot of times when I'm watching Dan's show, a certain subject will come up or somebody will mention something, or I'll even see something in chat. I'll be like, I want to go find out. So I leave the channel long enough to go Google something real quick and then come right back.
Did I mention you at the top of the show, or is it all just me?
I didn't hear everything that you said. I only heard part of your call.
Oh, no. I'm talking about this show, our show.
Oh, I mean, well, I kind of just introduced myself, but it's all good. I've been here long enough. I don't need a formal
You
introduction.
don't
I
need
don't
a
think at this point.
formal introduction. Everybody knows who you are.
I would hope so by now. That
You're,
I'm that crazy guy.
you're that wild and crazy guy. Would you say? Would you go that far?
Steve Martin kind of, Steve Martin in his prime, he really was a wild and crazy guy. He was probably the first like comedian slash became rock star level comedian. Like his live shows back in like the early '70s, he was he was doing some pretty outlandish stuff. I mean, it was comparable to your modern day rock star. I have to give him that. At the height of his success, he really had it going on.
Steve Martin. He used to do the thing with the arrow through his head. I think he was one of the first to do that. And then
Yeah, I know what you're talking about,
he did the balloon gags.
right?
And I'm not sure what the balloon. I do remember the balloon gags. I don't remember exactly how it went, but I do remember them.
Yeah, he had some really out there shows.
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, it was. I'm trying to remember what year
had to be the
it
seventies.
was.
Had to be the
Yeah,
70s.
yeah.
How do you like our banner? I like that banner down there. We
Yeah, yeah. You got it going on.
we couldn't do that when we did this on Hangouts.
No, not at all. He also had some really great Saturday night sketches. Saturday Night Live.
Steve Martin.
Oh yeah, he kind of created. Um, he was kind of like a co-creator of the Coneheads. In case you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I knew Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd was part of it.
And of course, the whole King Tut bit.
I remember King Tut. Do you remember? Well, we just talked about wild and crazy guys. Well, wild and crazy guys. Uh,
Yeah. Did you like the Three Amigos movie with him and Martin Short and
you know,
who was the other guy?
I got to tell you, Chevy Chase.
Yes.
Um, I got to tell you, when I was younger, I
Uh huh.
I liked it a lot more. But as I got older, it just kind of outgrew me, or I kind of
Or you outgrew it?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I outgrew it. And the same thing kind of can be said for the Police Academy movies too.
I
I,
concur.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking,
They are definitely like it's like the whole that whole level that level of humor, that level of comedy is meant for like your average 14 to 17-year-old coming of age spirit where things that kind of stuff that they talk about is still kind of taboo. You're just kind of figuring yourself out type of thing.
well, that Porky's. Remember Porky's?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Porky's is one of those movies I wasn't really allowed to watch when I was a kid.
But that's the only time you want to watch it.
Right,
Once you're allowed to watch it, it's not nearly as much fun.
right. Uh-oh, we're losing viewers. We better do something quick, Saji. What do we got for them?
Well, he said he could only stay for a little while. Remember?
Well, yeah, Mr. Jocko, but we lost two more viewers since then. Hey, listen to me.
Uh,
I can do I can do that one guy. That one guy's voice.
wait, I can balance plates. I can do that.
Who's that one guy? What guy was I just doing just now?
I don't know. You tell me.
The big guy that everybody hates. That big guy right there. Not Rush Limbaugh, but the other guy.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, that's whose voice I'm trying to do is Alex Jones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, tell us about how. Tell us about false flag.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know a whole lot about false flags, but I'll tell you what, I think everything that went down was a conspiracy. I think everything's false. There's
I
nothing
think you.
going for.
I think you might be right. Do you think that? What do you think about the Illuminati?
Well, I don't know anything about them, but I'll tell you what, I know that Miss Piggy was cheating on Kermit. I'll tell you that. She was cheating on him the whole time. Even during the Muppet Show.
That's
Her,
funny.
her and Gonzo were getting it on in the back. Oh, I just wanted to make something perfectly clear for everyone out there, by the way. That was the dog.
It was, huh?
The dog that did the tooting. Just saying. Just wanted to clarify that. It wasn't me. Tadoon. Anyway.
Seriously, though, people throw these terms around left and right. The cabal, the deep state, the Illuminati. I mean, you hear them all over. You tune into any type of YouTube channel that probably most of our listeners have or have frequented. You hear these terms: cognitive dissonance, oligarchy. I mean, these are. I'm sure you've heard them all. You know what I'm talking about, right,
Sure.
Mr. Alex Jones? Okay.
Some words in there that I can't pronounce.
Right, but have you ever actually, like, do you really know what an oligarchy is? I mean, have you ever? Can you give me an example of one?
I don't know. Sounds like a sandwich they would make down at Subway to me.
Right.
No, I'm not doing the Alex Jones bit the whole night, by the way.
Okay.
But I will say this. It does sound like a sandwich. Think about it. Alka-turkey. What did you say?
Prosciutto.
Prosciutto?
I don't know.
Isn't
I can't
that
pronounce it either.
Prosciutto? Prosciutto.
No, I gotta say something.
Well, no, oligarchy really is. It's a place for one.
Oh, okay.
But it's a popular.
Yes.
It's a popular phrase that people talk about in conspiracy circles, simply because it's how do I explain it? It's like it's famous from Plato, and it's a good way of showing how someone can be
I like
deceived.
making things of Play-Doh.
It's a great way to show how easily people can be deceived by the images that they are presented. And so a lot of people like to reference that when they're trying to sound a little bit more sophisticated or higher level, or or just kind of trying to make a point. It's kind of like a more sophisticated way of referencing when Fonzie is jumping the shark.
Right. Jumping the shark. That's what that little 10-minute or 15-minute little short that I did on the Cheers thing. What's his name? Eddie Von Keen mentioned. He said you should have had Fonzie jump the norm, because I had the norm figure there. I'm like, Eddie Von King, that doesn't even sound good, brother. Have him jump Norm. You know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I know, man. I just pulled
So,
it
are
up.
you familiar with the Oligarchy or the Myth of the Cave by Plato? Have you ever looked into it? Do you even know what I'm talking about?
I'm not that smart.
Well, it's not really about being smart or not smart. It's about whether you've taken the time to.
That was my chair. Just want to say, if you hear any noises, that was the chair. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm kind of gonna go. I think that's something we should cover tonight. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it, if that's okay.
Before we get into that, though, I'm going to ask you a question.
All right. Yeah, you definitely got to ask me this question. So go ahead.
Do you remember the
No.
conspiracies? Do you? Do you? Okay. That was a quick answer.
But I go ahead. I'm sorry. I digress.
Do you remember back in I think it was either
Uh-uh.
the early 90s or late? All right, you. Where's that taser at? I'm gonna tase you.
Okay. The early '90s, late '80s.
There was the conspiracy of people were quitting, or they knew they were getting fired from their jobs as artists, and they would write dirty pictures, but they were encrypted into images on
On the Disney cartoons and whatnot.
Disney cartoons and packs of cigarettes, and that's why I wanted to bring up the pack of cigarettes.
Are you referring to the Camels?
I wanted you to take a look at this and tell me what you. I'm going to hold it up to the screen.
Hold on, let me get back to that screen. I'm not there.
I don't know if I can represent this the correct way.
I've seen the guy standing there.
Okay, do you see the guy?
Yeah.
He's standing there and he's got his.
Yes, he's got his arms on his hips and he's well endowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him.
On the camel's leg. You look down the
Yeah, the front leg, he's facing sideways toward the back of the camel.
Yeah.
I see that.
But no, I just wanted to bring up the hidden drawings and stuff like that, conspiracies that they had back in those days. And a lot of it were these artists that were getting ready to quit the industries, or they were getting fired. And they knew they were getting fired, so they put these hidden images like this.
Well, I mean, they weren't always about if they were getting fired or not. Sometimes they purpose the company or the corporation or whatever. They would purposely want certain images to be subliminally embedded into your mind when you look at their products. And I mean, that one, for instance, may make a man feel more macho. So he buys Camel cigarettes because now he feels like more of a viral man, because he has the tough guy with his hands on his hips and the nice phallic pointing eastward. You know what I mean?
And you notice the reason why I bring that up is because Scale Performance was bringing up the phallic symbols in all of our sculptures and stuff.
Okay. And did you notice there was a nice pyramid in the background of that image?
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, on my.
Yeah.
Camera. Yeah. Well, you know what?
I didn't see any train tracks.
No, there was no train tracks on there whatsoever. But if you notice on the pyramid, let me turn my camera back on real quick so I can zoom in on it. If you notice, though, it does have, if I get it right and focus. See,
a second pyramid.
Like a little, well, really? Where?
Its tail's touching the tip of the pyramid as well.
Oh, wow. I never even noticed that before. But did you also notice there's like a stairway on the pyramid?
I do now.
Yeah, man. It's like.
Did you ever notice that the camel looks like he's about to take a poop?
No, kind of what in their squad.
How many humps is on the camel?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
one?
There's just one.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, isn't there usually 2 humps on camels?
I mean, what other show can you go listen to this late at night and where people make a pack of cigarettes interesting?
I know, right? There's a lot of things we could say about this, just this pack of cigarettes, you know?
We could probably, we could smoke the whole pack before we ran out of things to say.
Right? And if you notice, if you look at the A, check this out. Here's something else that's kind of trippy. Notice the A on camel and the E, and look at the E, and look how the L just looks like it wants to run off the box.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you notice that?
Yes. I mean, really, what kind of font is that supposed to be? Arabian?
I guess so. Well, it's Turkish, so I don't know.
Oh, Turkish. Yeah, I guess.
But
Arabic.
The 99, these are 99s. I don't know what the heck that even means, by the way. But
That means they're just one shy of 100.
well, yeah. But I mean, like, and then you turn it upside down. Of course, upside down, it's 66.
Yep.
And then you can talk about the fact that it says 90 and then has the 2 9s on it and says 99s on the package. See?
Right.
Right there. Oh, it's white. Oh, now you can see it. Blinded by the light. Now, then we can go on about that all night, but we're not here to talk about camels, obviously. You had something very important, I do believe, you wanted to say about words that I cannot pronounce and nor know anything about. So
Can you let me see, hold on a second. Let me go back to Chrome.
back to Chrome.
Hold on.
All right. Don't make any sudden sounds. You might wake
All
up.
right, let's see here.
You might wake up Jocko.
Right? Of
Oh.
course there isn't. Okay, wait.
Oh, hey, check this out. I think I can do something cool here. Hold on. Powered by. Oh, I can upload a whatchamadoodle?
Nuh-uh.
Customize your logo.
All right, can you type in Google Plato, Plato?
Oh, I can't upgrade. Okay, I can't. Do what now? I'm sorry.
Type in Plato,
Plato.
Plato,
Uh-huh.
space, Myth of the Cave, MYTH of the Cave. And go to images.
I'm trying to do something here. Okay. I got to type that whole thing in now. What is it again?
It's Plato, Plato.
Plato.
Yep, space, Myth, MYTH, of the Cave. That's easier to type than allegory. And then go to images, and like the second or third image, I want you to see that. And if you could possibly screen share it, because I'm going to read what that image.
Cave.
Yeah, I'm going to read what that's basically that image is about. Like I'm going to read from Plato himself.
Hold on a second, sir. Let me do something
Okay.
weird here. All right.
Tell me when you get it. Do you see the image?
Hold on, sir. I'm trying to do this, the thing that I do.
I just want to make sure you actually found it.
Hold on. Let me go to yeah. Do you see that?
Hold on, let me come back. Yep. Well, Yeah, but I wanted you to go to images because the images would have just brought up the image.
Oh crap. Where's an image right here?
Okay, that's not the one. Go to the next one.
Uh-oh, I'm scared. Okay.
Keep going. If you would have just went to images, it would have been a lot easier. But can you just go to images and get out of Wiki?
I can't. Hold on. Let me
Go back to your search.
Hold on, let me stop sharing for a minute
All right.
and then I'll research it.
All right.
Crap. Oh, hey, get back here, y'all. Hey, do you remember when they were talking about what were they talking about, sir?
I don't know. Stay focused with me because we're almost there.
Okay, Plato,
Myth of the cave.
myth of the cave.
It should autofill for you at this point.
Well, it kind of did. Images, yay! There we
And
go.
then you see like the one with the shadows and the guys
Oh
standing
my
there.
gosh! Yeah, man, that's huge.
All right, now click on that image and share that image.
Hold on, man. That one looks like a bunch of guys
I don't know. I
standing
can't
by.
see what you see.
Well, hang on, dude. Standing by brimstone and fire.
I think that's probably it. It's like you see like these long shadows behind, and it says the cave. It's like the second or third image that shows up in images.
There it is. Let me put it on absolutely positively. Whoops.
That's not the one.
Wait, yeah, it is.
Well, that's not the one. There you go. That was it.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, there's
Okay.
a big picture
So,
of
well, while you got that up, I'm gonna read this. Okay.
All right.
All right. And now I said, let me show in a figure how far nature is enlightened or unenlightened. Behold, human beings living in an underground den, which has a mouth open toward the light. And reaching all along the den, here they have been from their childhood and have their legs and necks chained so they cannot move and can only see before them, being prevented by the chains from turning around their heads. Above and behind them is a fire blazing at a distance, and between the fire and the prisoners there is a raised way, and you will see, if you look, a low wall built along the way, like the screen which marionette players have in front of them, over which they show the puppets. I see. And do you see, I said, men passing along the wall carrying all sorts of vessels and statues and figures of animals made of wood and stone and various materials which appear over the wall. Some of them are talking, others silent. Can you see how that would all be taking place there in that image?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Here's
So
the
you have shown me a strange image, and they are strange prisoners, like ourselves, I replied, and they see only their own shadows, or the shadows of the one or one another, which the fire throws on the opposite wall of the cave. True, he said, and how could they see anything but the shadows if they were never allowed to move their heads? And of the objects which are being carried in like manner, they would only see the shadows. Yes, he said, and they were able to converse with one another. They would not suppose that they were naming what was actually before them. Very true. And suppose further that the prison had an echo which came from the other side. Would they not be sure to fancy when one of the passerby spoke and spoke that voice which they heard came from the passing shadow? No question, he replied. To them I said, the truth would be literally nothing but the shadows of the images. That is certain. And now look again and see what will naturally follow. If the prisoners are released and disabused of their error, at first, any of them is liberated and compelled suddenly to stand and turn his neck round and walk toward the light, he will suffer sharp pains. The glare will distress him, and he will be unable to see realities of which his former state, the illusion. But now, when he is approaching nearer to being, and his eye turned toward the, imagine the instructor. Okay, so imagine like this whole time your whole reality has been staring at these shadows, and whatever puppet show the person behind the wall is giving you. That's the reality that you've come and learned and known your whole life. Then all of a sudden to be set free from those chains and be allowed to turn around and walk outside of the cave, all of a sudden it would be so hard for your brain to accept everything that you've known your whole life is basically has been a lie, has been a construct, has been fabricated. Do you see? Can you imagine that being? That's kind of like what a conspiracy theorist is always trying to do when he's talking to somebody who doesn't know, who isn't capable of understanding that maybe everything that they've been told has been a fabrication. It's really hard to get that person to see while they're still in the chains and they're still sitting there looking at the shadow images. It's almost impossible to enlighten them. Do you see how that's what people are talking about when they say something is a allegory? Are you with me now?
Allegory. Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and read the whole thing, but
No.
basically, that's kind of like what TV does. That's what mass media does. I mean, it's a metaphorical chains. It's a metaphorical puppet show. It's a metaphorical fire. Diffused daylight. It's really the same concept if you think about it. Are you with me?
Oh yeah.
So now when you hear this term, you're going to be more, I don't know, you're going to kind of have a visual reference, an idea of what's being said, right?
Well, I guess so, but I mean, it's still kind of foreign to me.
Right.
I need to do some more research into it and study. Man, you come up with this. How long have you had this information?
I mean, I looked it up about a year or two ago when I first heard people talking about it on Truther channels.
Cool.
All right, so now I want you to Google this word, if you don't mind.
Hang on. Sorry. Probably should.
I'm going to spell it for you.
No, hang on. Let me stop sharing. I never know what's going to come up in. Hold on. Have I stopped sharing?
I have to go look. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me look it up first, and then I'll share it.
All right. You got to type in CON. I'm sorry. COGN.
Wait. COG.
I. Yeah. COGN.
Ooh. Cool.
So it's COGN.
Oh, COGN.
Yep.
Sorry. All right, got it so far.
Okay, ITI.
Wait, IEI?
No, T is in Tom.
Wait, IT.
I. Yeah, COGNITI. VE.
Okay, I've got it.
And then space, and then put the letter D, and it should fill in the word dissonance for you.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
All right, go to images like you did last time.
All right, let me get the images up. Images. Holy crap! There's all kinds of images here, dude.
Yeah, I know. A good one to click on just for while I'm reading this is that third one where it says comforting lies and unpleasant truths, and there's two guys sitting there like at a little table. Each one's at a table.
Hold on, sir. Let me. Holy Moses! What did I do here? There we go. All right. Hey, it shows my real name on here. That ain't cool. There we go. Got rid of it. Two guys sitting at a table.
Yeah, there's like two little tables set up. It's like the third image in images.
I don't see nothing. I see a guy that looks like he's been shocked 17 times. Well, I mean, you can see everything that I'm looking at right here.
Let me go back and look. Hold on. All right, go back to the top.
I'll try. Okay, going to the top. All right.
All right, let's see here.
I
Go
don't
down a little bit.
see. I see brain activity.
All right, right around there. See, it's hard for me to see your screen. Yeah, just pick one. Any one of those would probably work. That looks like it would. You can see it better than me.
Well, I know, but I don't know where you're getting at with this congestive.
Well, basically, I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you what cognitive dissonance is.
Oh,
Something tells me you probably don't exactly know.
Oh, is this it?
Let me go back.
Ooh, this kind of looks like the whatchamadoodle experiment.
Well, let me cognitive dissonance. It's basically a psychological terminology. Okay, it was first investigated by Leon Festinger. Okay, arising out of a participant observation study of a cult, which believed that the Earth was going to be destroyed by a flood, and what happened to its members, particularly the really committed ones who had given up their homes and jobs to work for the cult when the flood never happened. But basically, it suggests that we have an inner drive to hold on to our attitudes and behavior in harmony and avoid disharmony. For instance, if your whole life you've believed something to be a certain way, then all of a sudden somebody comes along with the brutal truth that all this time you've had it wrong. What and the deeper that this the deeper that this is embedded into you, the harder it is for your brain to accept the new information. For example, an example was thinking smoking causes lung cancer will cause dissonance if a person smokes. However, new information such as has not proved definitely that smoking causes lung cancer may reduce the dissonance. A person can convince themselves that it's better to live for today than to save for tomorrow. In other words, he could tell himself that a short life filled with smoking and sensual pleasures is better than a long life devoid of such joys. In this way, he would be decreasing the importance of the dissonant cognition. Basically, it's like a coping mechanism that your brain creates for kind of like creating some type of justification for not letting go of the harsh reality that you've been recently made aware of.
Cool.
You'll have this a lot with the Mandela effect. Like when you first find out something that you've always known to be true one way, and suddenly, all of a sudden, somebody points out to you that this particular, like the one that, think of one that's really just kind of freaked you out when you first heard it, and it was really hard for you to accept.
Well, that was weird.
Can you think of what would be an example of that for you?
Well, no, I can tell you something weird that just now happened to me. My computer started doing a search for no reason. It said listening, and then came up. That was weird. Now, what was the thing you were saying? I'm sorry.
Think of a Mandela effect that when you first found out about it, it was really hard for you to accept. What would be an example of one?
Let's see. There's so many that was really hard.
Give me like one that really stood out for you.
Well, the one that really stood out for me was the Lion and the Lamb. That was really hard to accept.
Okay. So when you first heard it, your brain probably was like not wanting, basically did not want to hear that, right?
Right. That it was changed, right? Yeah.
So it took you all right. So like better yet, even like when you first, like what was one of the first Mandela effects that got you to believe that the Mandela effect is a real thing?
Well, I gotta be honest. The Lion and Lamb thing was the first thing that made me believe the Mandela effect was a real thing. But the other thing was, all right, let's just throw a generic example out there. Coke Zero was one that really triggered me also. So let's talk about Coke Zero.
Okay.
There.
All right. So like basically so basically when you first, okay, so a constant relationship, two cognitions or actions consistent with each other, like not wanting to accept something or not wanting to do something. And then you have the irrelevant relationship where let's see. It's like it's like different levels. It's like I'm trying to think of examples, and it's really hard for me, like on the fly.
I mean, if I knew where you were going with it, I would chip in, but I don't. I have no dog in this fight. I don't know where you're. Where are you headed with this?
It's basically how people try to reject or explain away or avoid the new information. For instance, let's say your whole life you believed that, like let's say you had a let's say you grew up, not you in particular, but a person grew up, and all of a sudden the parents bring them in the living room, sit them down one day, and they tell the child, he's like 15 or 16 years old, today we've decided that we're going to tell you that you were adopted. All this time you thought I was your real mom and this was your real dad, but the truth is we found you on the railroad tracks when you were just a baby. And we brought you home and we raised you like our own kid. Now, that's going to create like a huge, like stability, a real difference in like their whole reality of life, right?
An unstability, you mean, like in their life?
Yeah, like in their mental state, like their brain is really going to have it's going to be like a mental conflict within their brain. Like all of a sudden, the whole time that they've believed that was their real mom and their real dad, all of a sudden the reality is that this is not my real mom and this is not real dad. It's new information that contradicts something that they've strongly believed their whole life, right?
Sure.
Okay. So whenever this occurs, the brain tries to ease that pain, that tension, that conflict by trying to explain or avoid the new information. So like while the parents are sitting there saying this, the initial reaction of that child's mind is going to be disbelief. They're not going to believe it at first. The first initial reaction is going to be, "You're kidding. This is a joke. There's no way." They're not just going to immediately, "Oh, okay, no problem. Thanks for sharing," and walk away. That's not how it works, right?
Right. No, I know.
Okay. So what I'm getting at is that the harder that's just an example, okay? But the harder that it is for your brain to let go of what you thought, that's the more cognitive dissonance is going to occur. So basically, you might not even hear the information if it really conflicts with something you believe in. Like, say, for instance, you're an alcoholic.
Ooh, yeah, I know
If
that.
somebody comes up to you and tries to tell you, "Let's go to an AA meeting," your brain is not even going to hear those words. Your brain is going to hear, "Let's go to that crazy place where people try to convince you that drinking is bad."
Yeah, yeah. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Or even like or like if you're a non-believer in Christ, or you're a non-believer in religion and whatnot, and someone is trying to drag you off to church when you're younger, and you're not really interested in church, and you go to one of those churches where they just kind of preach and preach and preach.
Well, yeah, your brain is going to immediately tell you, you want to go to that place where everybody judges each other and pretends to believe in God.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to create like an immediate
self-defense mechanism.
Immediate. It's going to immediately go to jump to a place. It's not going to. It's going to create I don't know how to explain it, but I think you got the point. I think you get it. So that's basically what cognitive dissonance is. It's a brain trying to think of a way to ease the harsh reality that what they believe is okay is not all of a sudden okay, or they believe to be true is not all of a sudden true. For instance, if my dad worked at NASA, and I saw him get up and carry his lunch pail and go to work on rockets and come home and tell me stories about space and how he's sending landers to the moon and space shuttles into outer space, and then I get on YouTube and I see a video saying that NASA is fake, space isn't real. I am not going. There's no way in heck I'm going to be the least bit convinced. I'm going to think these people are total wackos. There's no way in heck you're going to convince me of that. However, if I grew up in a house where my dad made YouTube videos about how NASA is fake, and all of a sudden I go see a real space shuttle launch, I am not going to be easily convinced that this space shuttle is ever really going to make it into space.
Yes, sir.
It's what your brain, your trained reality is not going to let go and accept a new reality. That's what cognitive dissonance is.
Yeah, I get that. And I'll tell you what, it all beckons back to what Vivian was saying in that phone call she had earlier.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's basically very true. That's another great example. The people, and what can happen is it works both ways. It's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
You can be indoctrinated so heavily if you let your mind become vested or emotionally connected to just one way of thinking about something, to a point where it's impossible for you to see the other side of the argument. You're always going to be a victim of some level of cognitive dissonance. However, it's easy to sit on the pedestal and pretend like, oh, it can't happen to me. I'm the most open-minded person in the whole world. But I mean, then you can't be that open-minded. You can't everything everybody says to
Right.
you. You can't be willing to accept that as real too. So
Right.
then you come to the level of discernment. Okay, and you hear that term thrown. You got to practice discernment. So, what is discernment? Do you know what discernment is?
Well, sure. It's when
Well,
you
tell
ask
me.
discernment. It's kind of like, what they were saying when you ask God for discernment as to whether the fake Holy Spirit is fake or real or not.
Well,
And then
yeah,
the
that's
discernment, like show me if it's real or not, right? I mean, something like that. Am I close or am I
yeah.
way
You
off?
kind of got the idea. I mean, in Christian context, perception in the absence of judgment with a view to obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding. That's the Christian context. But uh, it does play um, like the biblical definition of discernment is the ability to attain sharp perceptions or to judge well, or the activity of so doing in the case of judgment. Um, but it's also um, it's basically it kind of comes with experience, and it's kind of like uh, a synonym with wisdom. Um, it's basically your ability to recognize BS, to recognize BS when you hear it, and recognize the truth when you hear it. I mean, when you're younger and you're a little bit more impressionable, it's easier to convince you, of certain things like uh the old trick like, hey, it looks like you got something all over your shirt, and the person looks down and you flick them with their finger. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then
You
as
have
you get
to,
older, over time that trick quits working on you.
all
Because
right.
you start to catch on.
Sure, you
It's
start to
basic
use a certain level of discernment.
exactly you.
Yep.
It's that would be like a very watered down version of. And discernment kind of comes with practice. Like I remember when I first got on YouTube, looking up truth or things, and I seen how the dinosaurs discovered the pyramids, and I was like, oh my god, the dinosaurs discovered the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean that literally, but I'm just saying metaphorically. There's just so much junk to shift through. It seems like it's all like 80% uh, made up with 20% truth, just enough truth to keep you keep you interested, and 80% filler to keep you to make you sure you like and subscribe and tune in for the next crazy video that they make up. You have to kind of shift through a lot of BS to get real good
Truth. Right.
truths and real good enlightenment. That's what discernment is. It's the ability to decipher through the crap to find the gold.
Right. I kind of.
All right. So we made it through quite a bit there. I think that's enough for one visit. We covered the allegory. We covered cognitive dissonance, and we covered discernment.
You're
That's
you're
to get
sort
those
of.
three out of the way is a big milestone for anybody out there just kind of getting started on finding their way toward the truth.
I'll tell you what, man. You're on a roll here tonight. You seem like you're more. You seem like you're more in it now than you are. Not saying that you're not in it on Shifty Sunday, but it seems like you are just hitting every note just so perfectly, and I seem to be off of my game a little bit right now.
Well, I mean, I kind of this is something I've been wanting to talk about, and I just kind of seized the opportunity. And it's not like we really had a chance to cover it before the show, but I just wanted to make sure. I think that I heard a lot of these terms tonight on Dan's show. I heard discernment. I heard cognitive dissonance. I didn't hear allegory, but I hear it a lot on these truther channels. So I thought it would be good just to kind of cover it and see, make sure we kind of actually know what it really is, since people like to throw these throw these terms around so loosely, as if maybe next time we'll talk more about what really is the cabal, what really is the Illuminati, and what really is the deep state. There's three separate words, but do they all three mean the same thing? Because if you're just kind of walking into the truth or community, you really don't know if they are or they aren't. You just hear them all the time. You hear people bring up the cabal, but do you really know who the cabal is? And you hear about the deep state. Is that like below Michigan or South Carolina? And
Right.
and the Illuminati. I mean, do you think of who do you think of? Do you think of a Masonic lodge and Islam, or do you think of Rick Ross and Beyonce?
I tend to think of Hollywood. I tend to think of, well, I mean, you laugh at these things, but
Yeah.
you're actually 100% right. What people think, it's their different perspective on things too, and their outlooks.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I tend to think of the Illuminati more in Hollywood terms. Like, for example, I hate to throw his name around quite so often, but Tom Hanks is a big part of the Illuminati.
Okay.
Just for an example, I'm not saying if he is or isn't, but I'm just using that as an example. And of course, you have a lot more than that. I mean, it goes a lot deeper, but we won't get into all that. I was just using it.
Well, like on the dollar, that pyramid with the eye.
Yes,
That
that's
is that is that is basically the symbol of Illuminati.
the all watchful. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's basically it's a noun. People claiming to possess special enlightenment or knowledge of something is the literal literal definition. But it was basically given to several groups, both real and fictitious. Historically, the name given to several groups it refers to the Bavarian Illuminati, an Enlightenment era secret society founded on May 1st, 1776. What else happened in that year? Do you know anything else that might have happened in 1776?
Well, 1776, wasn't that the year they signed the Declaration of Independence?
Yes, it is. Society's goals were to oppose superstition and obscurantism, religious influence over public life, and abuses of state power. The order of the day, they wrote in their general statutes, is to put an end to the machinations of the purveyors of injustice, to control them without dominating them. The Illuminati, along with Freemasonry and other secret societies, were outlawed, edicted by Bavarian ruler Charles Theodore with the encouragement of the Catholic Church. It's basically hidden secret societies with knowledge that you have to basically you have to be loyal to their cause before you can be enlightened with this information. But the information is considered threatening by the mainstream institutions like the government or mainstream society, where you're encouraged to conform and obey. That there's no, they don't have time for that secret knowledge stuff. You can't be learning the secret knowledge. Conform and obey. Get up, go clock in, do your job, keep your head down, and be quiet. Versus learn about the secret laws of nature and the special ways to construct and the rituals of paganism. Versus clock in, keep your head down, be quiet, obey, and go home and pay your bills and be an honest an honest citizen. I mean, that's basically it's either you either subscribe to one school of thought or the other. It's considered taboo or unorthodox to be part of this esoteric um you know
Sure.
secret society
I,
stuff. This is not considered a socially acceptable behavior back in the 40s and 50s and 60s.
I just wanted to chime in that a lot of this, what's going on, is subliminal. Uh, excuse me. Hold on a second. Subliminal messaging is all a part of the. It kind of puts you in mind of that movie that was with Rowdy Piper, where the main words and the subliminal messaging was obey. What
Oh,
was
they
it?
live.
They live. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. That would definitely be an example of him seeing the other side. Um, I mean, and a lot of it is conspiratorial. I mean, how much of it is really um, black magic or Satanism and tribal rituals? I mean, I'm sure, yeah, that's a part of it, and a lot of it's just learning, just basic stuff that on how how to I don't know. It's guys wanting to get together and play like a super advanced um, role play, like almost like you imagine people getting together. Boys like to get together and play Dungeons and Dragons in their basement,
Yep.
and take it to a whole new level. As adults, you know what I'm saying?
Making it like real world Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you get the idea. What was the lodge that Fred and Barney always went to?
The water buffaloes.
Yeah, it's basically they were going to the Freemason lodge. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
I tell you, brother, it's a lot to think on, and certainly I've been educated. I've been schooled here tonight. You schooled me on a lot of this stuff that I was unaware of. Well, not unaware of. Like I know the basics. I knew the basics, but some of these terms that are being thrown around, the contemporary terms also that are being thrown around, just like their everyday words and stuff, that some people may not understand what they mean. They may not get what the meaning of them are, and they may not even heard these words before in their entire lives. And the people, like you said, that are new and coming into it, um, they need to be schooled in this stuff more often, more educated. That's what we're here to do, right?
Most definitely. The eye on the top of the dollar bill is called the Eye of Providence, or the
Oh, that's
all-seeing
cool.
eye of God. It's a symbol having its origin in Christian iconography, surrounded by rays of light or glory, usually enclosed by a triangle. It represents the eye of God watching over humanity, the concept of divine providence. In the modern era, a notable depiction of the eye is the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States, which appears on the United States $1 bill. Today, the Eye of Providence is often associated with Freemasonry, although it is originally a Christian symbol. In Freemasonry, it's frequently shown with a cloud rather than a Trinitarian triangle. The eye first appeared as part of the standard iconography of the Freemasons in 1797 with the publication of Tom Smith's Webb Freemason Monitor. So basically, it's kind of like it's just a popular thing among conspiracy theorists to claim that the Eye of Providence is shown atop of an unfinished pyramid of the Great Seal of the United States indicates the influence of Freemasonry in the founding of the United States. However, common Masonic use of the eye dates to 14 years after the creation of the Great Seal. So that's kind of a farce. So when you hear that and see that, you have to realize that yeah, Freemasonry exists. Yes, Illuminati is both fictional and true. But when the all-seeing eye on the top of the dollar bill has nothing to do with Freemasonry. So when someone tries to convince you that it does, you've heard it here that that's not the case.
There's a lot of stuff encoded into the dollar bill, and even the $20 bill.
We could do a whole show on just money and
Oh,
the
sure.
symbologies of money.
Like,
You want to plan that for a future show? Well, we'll talk about the symbology and money. I mean, we can touch on it now, but we could really go in depth later if I had a chance to look it all up.
I want to ask you a question, though.
All right.
Have you ever done that trick where you fold? I don't know if it's a $20 bill or a $10 bill or whatever the heck it is, but you fold it a certain way, and then if you do it a certain way, I'm probably not supposed to use these words on YouTube, but it kind of looks like the Twin Towers with smoke coming up out of the top.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before. It's been a long time though since I've done that. I think it's a $20 bill. It's the backside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that's kind of, I won't say weird, but I don't know.
No, it's definitely I remember when I first did it, it struck me funny. It's almost like it prophesized it, because obviously that image was on that money long before the towers ever fell.
Yeah.
It is kind of it's really interesting when you first see that, though. Yeah, I mean, but I think it's more of, I know there really is no such thing as coincidences, but I really doubt that they really, whoever was designing the money back then had any idea of the Twin Towers. I think it's just one of those things that kind of conveniently works out that way more than anything else.
I agree with that, but also I think there's a documentary you should watch, and that's the Prophecies documentary. They talk about the doomsday prophecies, prophecies, and I don't think you've
easy for you to say.
Right? I know, man. That's a real tongue twister. But have you ever
I don't know if I've seen the same particular one that you're referring to, but I have watched those kind of shows before, and they are fun to watch.
What's his name? Not Amadeus.
Nostradamus, is that who you're thinking of?
Nicodemus? Wait, what is it?
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus, yes, thank you. The prophecies of Nostradamus.
That song, I like his song. Rock me, Nostradamus. Rock me, Nostradamus.
That is a good one, isn't it? I reckon I better go check that out. No, were you there the day they were talking about why I think the word reckon is in the Bible now?
I heard you guys talking about it the other day.
Yeah,
it might have been on Dan's show.
Yeah, we kept doing like a back and forth type of joke. We were talking like most Southerners talking, how I remember my aunts and uncles talked and how everybody talked. You go, I'm fixing to go down yonder and make me a pizza and drink me some beer. I reckon I'll have that beer out of the fridge that I had last night or something like that,
Right.
We just kept.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think that it was used that way, because I know that the term reckon is also can be used short for reckoning.
Yeah.
And reckoning can be like a doomsday type. The day of reckoning, the day of of consequence. You see what I'm saying? So in that translation, I can see it being applicable, but not in the. But and I know you were just saying that tongue in cheek, but you were just kind of kidding. But I don't think that it's meant. Reckon is meant in the Bible, if it's even used in that short. That is it used that in just the word reckon, or is it used in reckoning?
I think it might have actually been used in reckoning, like you said. But I got to really dig back into it because the way they were saying it last night or the night, whatever night that was, it might have been Mandela Monday, but the way they seemed like they were trying to say that it was used for shorthand, that it wasn't used for shorthand for reckoning, that it was just saying, like, for an example, I reckon we ought to go down by the river and get baptized.
Yeah. See, no, that's not.
I
That's
don't.
not what I was thinking. But you know what? A lot of times when you're trying to create a Mandela show, it's convenient to use it, and in the way that makes it more fun for the audience. So I'm not criticizing or saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying that that would be the more convenient way to present it if you were trying to appease an audience.
Sure, I get that, but also at the same time, I don't know where it came from. Like I'm probably not saying it the way they were saying that it existed in the Bible that way. Like you said, like you're not going to hear Peter or Paul or any of those guys say, "Hey, I reckon we ought to go cast our nets over there." I reckon.
I reckon, if I reckon you could teach a man to fish. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
yeah,
You might be a spiritual redneck if you reckon to teach a man to fish.
right. Man, I tell you, it's just like the lawnmower thing. It's like I was telling you the other day. My neighbor asked me to if he could borrow my lawnmower, and I was like, "Well, maybe if you go do this or that." I said, "But see, my lawnmower doesn't really work too well in someone else's yard." I didn't really mean it that way, but I was like, trying to basically tell him in a nice, gentle manner, you can't borrow my lawnmower. Sorry.
You know what, though? I found that when it comes to stuff like that, short, firm, and direct work a lot better than subtlety. I mean, it seems like when somebody wants something from you or expects that they should be able to have a certain thing, subtlety rarely works. You have to be firm and direct. Now, you don't have to be condescending, where you're making them feel bad or putting them down, but you definitely you have to be firm and direct, or it just seems like it doesn't. The information, there's too much cognitive dissonance, and they just don't hear the fact that you're telling them no.
There you go. Hey, you used what you taught me in the sentence. Hey, very good.
I know, right?
But yeah, so that's good, man. Hey, listen,
Do we have anybody in chat, or did we scare them all off?
no, we have 4 people watching, but no one's talking.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we have 5 people watching.
All
So
right.
that's good,
Yep. I predicted we would have 10, but
You did. You were off by 5, but you know what? That's awesome. I think you did. Your algorithms. Whatever. I'm not even going to try to talk like that.
Are you still wearing the tie? That's what I want to know.
No, I think I ditched the tie a long time ago. I am wearing the cool shades though, man. I'm wearing the cool shades. Hey, so I see we're visited by Preliminal and Euler Greg. You want to do here? Let's let I'll do the room a quick shout out, and then we'll answer a couple more calls, and then we'll
answer a couple more calls. How many have we answered so far?
I don't know. I was trying to do a Dan thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's do a shout out. I'll do. I got the chat up. We got Chaos Reality was here earlier. Jocko R went to bed. America is Dying Repent was here. Evan5935 was here. Got some new names in here tonight.
That's what's up.
Preliminal, I may have given him a double shout out, but that's okay. And Euler Greg came in saying, I reckon I was just lurking. And we got Red Shirt Blues in the house. Always good.
All right.
Shirt
Well, if you name everybody twice in different order, it just makes it sound twice as big.
There we go. Yeah, then we got twice the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's pretty much all I had. I mean, if you got something, I'm all ears.
I want to talk about this cloud creature Red Shirt's talking about. What do you?
What?
I get it. Okay, cloud creature on line 2. See, we did have some callers. We just didn't know it.
Oh, okay.
It's cloud creature. Let's see what cloud creature has to say.
All right. Let's talk to Cloud Preacher.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say you guys have a terrific show, and I wanted to say more about the algorithms or whatever it is that you said.
Cloud creature, are you just messing with us?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm sorry, guys. I've been drinking.
All right. So, I mean, is your congregation actually in the clouds, or is that just a metaphor for? How did you get the name Cloud Preacher?
I'm a creature of the clouds.
Oh, okay. So, are you saying Cloud Creature or Preacher?
Creature.
Creature, my bad. I thought you said Preacher. All right.
Well, that'd be totally something different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. So, what's the weather like up there in the clouds?
Very cold.
I see.
Very cold and rainy most of the time.
And have you ever seen anything like out of the ordinary, like a UFO or angels or?
No, mostly I just see pigs, chariots, angels, horses, and monkeys.
All right. And when you're up there in the clouds and like a tornado is happening on the ground, can you see all the way straight down through the tornado? Or
When a tornado is coming, I usually move out of the way. Those things are pretty big.
oh, okay, all right. Well, that's all I have for you, sir. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Hey, wait, I had a question about in Forrest Gump, where he says life was like a box of chocolates. I remember a long time ago, it said life is like a box of chocolates.
Right. Well, a long time ago, it was actually like current, but now so much time has passed. He has to refer to it in the past tense to say it was like a box of chocolates. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie, but it can literally take you a whole lifetime to get through the dang movie of Forrest Gump. So by the time it's over, your life was like a box of chocolates. But actually, during the movie, while you're watching it, in your lifetime, it is like a box of chocolates. Does that explain it for you, Cloud Creature?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Just always worried about that.
Yeah, it's often a misconception. And maybe you should look up Mandela Effect on YouTube when you get a chance.
I think I'll do that. Well, thank you for your time, gentlemen. And I'll let you guys get to your next caller. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I got to get back to electrocuting people and making it rain.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your cloud day.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, that was Cloud Creature.
Yeah.
He's an interesting caller.
Yeah, I always like when he calls in. He's like, I mean, he's really got like a higher level of thinking.
Well, He's always got his head in the clouds, though.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it would be nice if he was just a little bit more down to earth.
Oh boy, I think we've spent our hour and 20 minutes well here, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
So, Red Shirt Blues actually says that cloud creatures are the deadly enemies of red shirts. Ah, okay.
All right. Well, we didn't mean to have your deadly enemy on the show, but next time you can feel free to call in and we can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. This is the Mandela Zone's a very dangerous place for red shirts to be, by the way, just saying.
Right? Yeah, especially if they're like in their freshman year.
Right? Their freshman year of the academy.
Yeah.
But, well, seriously, folks, I'd like to thank everyone for kindly stopping by. I reckon we're going to wrap things up now.
All right.
I'd like to thank Preliminal and Oila Greg and Richard. Well, I already did the shout out, didn't I?
Yeah, but it is great to thank everybody. Also, I want to thank Scare Performance for allowing us to plug our show tonight and putting the link, having Fizzy put the link in chat. That was just really kind of him. Kudos to Dan from Scare Performance.
Well, for sure, we appreciate that, and we plugged his show plenty of times on Shifty Sunday. Which, if you guys are looking at the banner right now, to be sure to tune in tomorrow night. Tonight, because it's already
Sunday.
Yeah, it's already Sunday. So, I'd like to thank my co-host, Sagittarically Speaking, for being here.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And I gotta say, man, you had your A game tonight. I really appreciate, even though you didn't have anything prepared. You came in and just kind of took the ball and rode with it.
Well, yeah, you were kind enough to look up the images I needed you to, so it was a 1-2 punch, my man.
All right, sounds good. Punch. I ain't had punch in a long time. Remember those Hawaiian Punch commercials?
No, I don't remember those.
Oh man, you don't remember?
Yeah, how could you not remember those? They don't. The Hawaiian Punch doesn't advertise anymore. I'm pretty sure they still exist, but I can't think of the last time I saw a commercial for them.
Maybe they're too violent.
Yeah, that could be it. But I mean, can you think of the last, like you just said? Remember the Hawaiian? Because like you haven't seen one in a long time, have you?
Right? Yeah, I haven't. It's like they just kind of disappeared, almost like, they still make Tang, but you don't see any Tang commercials anymore either.
Right? I mean, are sales just so good that they no longer need to advertise? Or, I mean, what is the logic here?
I guess that's their logic. Like, everybody knows who we are. Screw it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, if we had a T-shirt and we were selling T-shirts and we didn't even bother to advertise them?
Right. Yeah. And sales were just doing great. We were selling 100 a day just because people just kept buying them. Maybe Punch is just like that. I mean, even milk has to advertise sometimes. Every soda, I can't think of another beverage that's just so successful. But Punch, I guess, just it just does its thing. It's just fine. No need to advertise Punch. People will just keep buying it.
People just keep buying it. They buy it for birthday parties, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Would you agree that it's probably one of the most spiked beverages as well?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you got your.
I don't know if that
Hawaiian
there could be an interesting correlation there. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you this: do you ever see commercials for Sherbert?
No, but who buys sherbet really?
Well,
Besides people.
what I'm getting at is most people when they make their punch, like they make regular punch.
But advertising would not help sherbet sales. I mean, it's like, what would you say? Like, buy sherbet, it sucks compared to ice cream, but buy it anyway. I mean,
Well, I mean, I'm saying like they could advertise it as punch.
oh, okay.
You know, like hey, you know what they could do? They could do a diabetes tie-in, like buy sherbet. It's better for you.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm just throwing shit out there, you know.
buy sherbet, it's spelled funny and it tastes like it's spelled funny.
Speaking of sherbet, I think we might have found a new Mandela effect. Because
Uh oh. I actually called Dan about sherbet a long time ago.
really,
Yeah, it's because it's spelled sherbet.
right. Well, I call it Schubert. 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 Isn't that how it's spelled? Schubert.
I mean, I'd have to pick up my phone and Google it when I can.
Well, I mean, no, that's quite all right. We'll probably do it for another show, but I'm just saying, like, it seems like that's been Mandela affected, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I called Dan when I first came across it. It's spelled well. The way I would have spelled it is Sherbert. So I typed that into Google and it recognizes it as a word, but then it takes me to Sorbet, sorbet.
What?
Yeah, that's how it's actually spelled. But then it says or sherbet, Sherbet, because it could go either way, depending on if you hold your little pinky up when you sip your tea or if you don't.
Yeah.
Is a frozen dessert made from sweetened water with flavoring. That's why it's not nearly as good as ice cream because it's basically frozen Kool-Aid.
Okay. So, okay, let me get this straight. Do you see ice cream advertised really on TV?
Sometimes, like the Magnum bars, I see advertisements for those.
I never really see any ice cream products advertised. Like you used to see them all the time. Like, do you remember like what was it? Mickey Mouse fudge bars. You remember those?
Right? And then you had what's his name? The Trout Dairy guy. He kind of he kind of covered it all because Trout Dairy does ice cream, milk,
Yeah. Ernest,
yogurt.
Ernest did a lot of those commercials too. He did a lot of ice cream and yogurt commercials.
And then don't forget, back in the day, they used to have all the like pudding pops were a popular thing. I think Bill
Yeah.
Cosby advertised those.
We won't. Yeah, we won't bring up him.
Yeah, well, before he was a lurker, he did a lot of crazy
Hey,
stuff back.
I liked pudding pops. By the way, I wish they'd never gone away. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah, they do.
No, man, I'm serious.
I'm about to find out.
Look up Jello pudding pops. They're not Jello.
Yeah, I can get them at Walmart right now. Jello pudding pops for $4.36 at Walmart.
Wait a minute, really?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
You can get the kits to make them, but I don't think they still exist.
Oh, okay.
Unless
Oh, here it says what happened September 4th, 2018. What happened to Jello pudding pops? You ever find yourself wondering ever so often, what happened to Jello pudding pops? Well, apparently we do because here we are wondering it right now.
Right.
I miss them all the time. You're not the only one. About 3,600 people open up Google and type in Jello pudding pops and cry every month. Every month, 3,600 people do a Google search for Jello pudding pops. But I don't know, man. Pudding pops were alive as well as the late 90s. They were immensely popular then. They weren't like super profitable and they got pulled from the shelves. Did you know that?
I did not know that, sir.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this much though. Do you ever see? And I'm wondering if maybe you could take pudding and maybe put sticks in them and freeze them.
Well, yeah, the hard part would be coming up with like you would I assume that somebody out there's probably made a fudgesicle casing that you could pour it into so it will make the shape of a fudgesicle. I'm
Well, I
sure
mean,
somebody's taking the time to do that.
they have kits, like I said, like you can take,
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's what you would need. You would need the kit.
but I just wonder, like,
I mean, you could always use ice trays for the little mini ones, I guess.
sure. But me and my wife, we have the kits to make them. But I'm just curious if you could do it, like you said, with ice trays and just take pudding and just put regular pudding in there somehow. You might have to add some water or something. I don't know. And then, freeze them to tongue compressors.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it would work with regular pudding. You might add a little bit extra this or that to get the consistency just right. Yeah, probably trial and error. Make some, see how they turn out, then go from there.
I would imagine so, sir. Also, let me ask you one more question, and then we'll get off.
Nope.
I knew you were going to do that for some reason. Do you remember?
Nope.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, go ahead.
Do you remember those things? They were called. And see, you done messed me up, brother.
You were expecting me to say nope, but I didn't.
But
Do I remember what now?
They were these squishy things. They're called Squeeze-Its, and you pop the top off.
We can't talk about this on the air.
No, not those.
Okay.
No, it's like Kool-Aid, but it was in like little bottles that had. I think they still have them. I'm not sure, but they don't call them Squeeze-Its anymore. I think they're called Kool-Aid something or another. I don't know, but do you not remember those?
No, I'm not sure I know that. I mean, I don't think I know what you're talking about exactly.
Do you remember push-ups?
Oh yeah, they were. I like the orange ones.
Yeah, they had chocolate and strawberry ones too, if I'm not mistaken.
Those were sherbet, weren't they?
No, sir. No,
the orange push-ups were sherbet.
Oh yeah, the orange ones were.
Yeah,
but I don't ever remember. Like they didn't used to have the orange ones. They just had chocolate strawberry, if I recall. It wasn't till later they had the orange ones.
Okay.
And I think they still do have the orange ones, by the way. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So let me tell you this. I want to share this. Like a long time ago, probably over a year ago, I did a Google search about that asteroid that was that Nibiru asteroid or whatever. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was about to strike the Earth, wasn't it?
Yeah. I did a Google search for it, okay? And ever since then, when I open my Google,
Hmm.
the first thing that shows up, asteroid bigger than Eiffel Tower and more powerful than Hiroshima hurtling near Earth. That's what's on here right now from 7 hours ago that this came out. Every time I open Google, there's an article. The first article is about an asteroid that's coming from Earth. It's almost to the point like where every, every on a, like clockwork, every 5 to 7 days, there's another asteroid that's hurtling toward Earth. And my Google account can attest to it being true. Well, whether there really is an asteroid coming or not, if there's an article about one that somebody made up somewhere online, my Google is going to show it to me.
Oh man, that's something now. I tell you.
Can you imagine, though, waking up every day to find out that there's another large, powerful, huge, rock about to hit your planet? That's the reality I live in.
Well, you know what? I think you got sucked into Bill Murray's the Groundhog Day reality, where you wake up every day and it's the same day.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I should change my Google profile to Chicken Little.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God, the sky's falling.
yeah. That way they can be sure to keep sending me this stuff.
Oh man. Hey, speaking of I think I already mentioned God's Armor Rooster Call, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you may have mentioned that. Are
Like,
you getting senile in your old age, there, sir?
well, when I start wearing neckties around my head, yeah, I'd say there's a pretty good clue to that.
Okay.
See, that's what I like about this show. It's more relaxing. It's less. There's less stress. We don't have to take ourselves quite as serious. We could just.
Well, you know what? You know about all good things, though. You know what? You know what's the worst thing about all good things?
They must come to an end.
Yes, which we must do now, even though we've tried to probably 3 times already.
Right. Speaking of all good things, that's one of my favorite Star Trek
You're so funny.
episodes.
I refuse to. I refuse to answer any more questions. I do not consent.
Hey, Euler Greg said he almost got hit by a chunk at the sky the other day of the sky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he
Tell
said.
Euler Greg that we would. Well, I guess I could tell him he's listening. Euler Greg, you should call in on our Shifty Sunday show. I would love for you to call in. You're always on our chat. You're a great supporter of our show. I'm not saying you have to call in, but I would really like to hear from you, sir.
He's demanding it. Don't listen to him. He's got a gun pointed at me right now. That's why I'm on the broadcast.
Well, you got to do sometimes drastic means for drastic measures.
And now I've got that same gun. I took it from him and I got it pointed at him. That's why we can't leave the air yet.
I see. Yeah, you're holding me captive on YouTube airwaves.
Right. Yeah, I think I gave the final shout out about an hour ago. Hey, as long as we can find interesting things to talk about, we're going to talk.
Okay, that's the trick.
Yeah.
So as soon as it becomes uninteresting, it's over, huh?
That's right. That's how it works. You know that on every YouTube channel they do that stuff. Like, seems like every time Scarab's getting ready to shut down the show, he's like, "Well, do you have anything else for us, Noble?" Oh, yes. Well, actually, if you look at the map here,
Noble does always have something to share at the end of the show. Have you never noticed that?
I know, and I do give him a lot of grief, but
You can hear it. You can hear it in Dan's voice that he's really hoping that he doesn't have anything. That Dan's just ready to wrap it up, and that's when Noble has something. Well, there is one thing he always says.
Oh yeah,
he does come up. He does come up. I give him, like I said, I give him a lot of grief, but he does come up with some really good finds.
Oh
And
yeah, and usually whatever it is that he wants to share, it's definitely worthwhile. I mean, it's definitely something that's worth taking the time to look at. I mean, he's definitely always got a good find.
right, it's not something lame like, oh, Mike Tyson really didn't bite Vander Holyfield's ear off. You know, it's always
Well,
something good.
what? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was starting to say, what? You don't know that one? About that one?
No, the reality difference is how much of a chunk he took off of the air, which I think is so trifling. I mean, does it really matter if it was a quarter of an inch or, you know, 3/4 of an inch? It was still he bit the
Well,
dude's ear, man.
dude, the way I remembered it back then was he actually bit the whole ear off, like the whole ear came off, and
Well, that's what I mean. Was it, but how, like the whole ear, like the entire ear,
that's
like
what
his
I
whole ear? I thought he just bit off the earlobe, like.
no. I was always the way I always saw it was when they showed the film, it was always like okay, maybe it wasn't the entire ear, but it was a great chunk of it. It
All right,
was
so we're back to the size of the chunk, right?
well, what I'm saying is like, okay, right, you're right, and I'm right, but the point I'm trying to make is it wasn't just a little tiny nibble.
But
Like
that's what it is now in this reality. It's just a small little. It's like a little bitty chunk versus a massive chunk.
it was like half his ear. Half his ear was
I
missing.
mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Is like the size, like whether it was where the difference in reality is. Did he just bite off a small chunk? That's today's reality, right?
Right.
Then the reality that you remember was it was a much bigger portion of the ear that was removed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you on this. I agree. I remember the portion being much larger as well. However, it's quite possible in this particular Mandela effect, and I'm just saying it for argument's sake, that it just seems such like a bigger deal at the time because we just couldn't freaking believe he actually bit the dude's ear in the first place.
Right.
The fact that anybody's biting an ear, and then, you know, if you see any visual at all, you're going to go back and you're going to remember this as a bigger, as it's actually happening, it's going to seem like a more colossal, of higher magnitude, of bigger proportions in general, the whole act of it occurring, whether, you know, but I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I remember it being larger too, but are we remembering it being larger simply because it was such a big deal that he actually did it? Or was it actually larger? That's kind of like how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop commercial, if you ask me.
Well, I get that too, but and also though there was jokes. You know, you see spoofs in movies where they would like.
But in the spoofs, they're going to exaggerate.
Oh, sure.
That's
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, they always do
right.
with everything, not just that, but
Right.
you know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. That's all I got to say. I agree, though, that I do. I mean, I concur that my memory, it was like, and then I remember the blood being all over the mat of the ring. Like it was like he got mauled by a dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, man, Mike Tyson really got screwed up in jail. Like I really felt bad for Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
Losing his ear and everything, and I had to wonder, like, damn, he's probably thinking Mike Tyson done lost his mind. But then I'm thinking, oh man, because I was always a real big fan of Mike Tyson growing up. I idolized him. I mean, I really felt bad. I really kind of believed he was set up when he got sent to prison anyway. Because I mean, what kind of woman comes back to your hotel room with you at 2:00 in the morning and thinks there ain't going to be any kind of freaky deaky happening? You know, but that's beside the point.
I don't really want to say anything because then you're saying, that, oh, well, what's she doing with going up there 2 in the
I
morning?
mean, if Mike Tyson is saying, "Let's go back to my hotel room, baby," I don't think he just wants to make pudding pops.
Well,
I don't think he's going to get out the pudding pop kit and we're going to make pudding pops. I don't think that's what's happening.
that's what's happening. I know. Yeah, exactly. I got your point. I did. I felt the same way too. I'm like, she's just trying to look for money, man. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
She's just trying to get the dude's money. But then when you realize also, all the stories about him beating his wife and all that stuff, and you
Well,
realize,
I'm not saying you don't have his issues. I
yeah,
mean, everybody's got skeletons in their closet. Everybody has trials and tribulations. Everybody has things they got to work through. But I think he was set up. I think that the powers that be, you know, you see a young, successful black man anytime in American culture, sooner or later, he's going to, if
by
he
the way,
gets too big for his britches, he gets put in his place. That's just the way that it seems to work.
by the way, without even looking at it or out even looking it up or anything, I can name the passcode to get to Mike Tyson in the original Nintendo game. I can name it right now.
All right, let's hear it.
007 373 5963.
Well, you know what? Now that you told me that, guess what?
What's that?
I think I can beat Mike Tyson.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, in that game, he was really tough. He'd knock you out in one punch.
Oh, you talking about the game or real life?
Yeah, well, that too, I guess. Me, a guy like you or me, yeah, he could probably knock us out in one punch. You know?
Yeah, I remember loving watching Mike Tyson in his prime. But back to what we were talking about before. I mean, the ear thing. That's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not. You know me. I'm a firm believer that the Mandela effect is real. I'm not trying to imply ever that it's not. However, but I do have to apply some level of discernment as I consider these
Yeah.
Mandela effects. And I'm not really 100% sure that. I think the size of the ear bite might be more of us grandiosizing it at the time, and just over as time has passed, it's just came to be what it really was.
Well, my man, I guess we'll just have to find out tomorrow night when we do Shifty Sunday. And that has nothing to do with what you were talking about, but it is getting pretty late here at the Hebrew channel. And I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. We do have 4 watching at the moment, so I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. You know what? I think your prediction was right, by the way. I think we did have maybe at one time 10, but not consistently.
All right. Well, that's all that matters. We, just keep trying to put out good shows and keep growing the channel. That's our goal.
That's our go. And I want to make an announcement real quick before we leave the air. We're going to start selling T-shirts now. We haven't thought of a name for these T-shirts yet, but next week, not this week on Shifty Sunday, but next week, we're going to have a contest, and we're going to let you people pick the name. We're going to throw out 2 possibilities.
Within reason. I mean,
Well, we're going to get them
we're going to select a name based off of entries, right?
right.
Okay.
Now, what we'll do is, what I think we should do is give them the choice that you and I put out. You remember the choice?
Yeah.
And see what they. Now, the only problem is I don't want somebody to copy that and then take it and go, I'm taking that slogan. F you guys.
I mean, more power to them. If they can take the slogan and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar corporation, I say have at it.
Right. But I think we should make it into a contest. What do you think about that?
Sounds good to me.
I think that yeah, that sounds.
As an employee, I'm not allowed to participate, right?
No, that's right.
Okay.
We are even me. That goes for me too now.
Well, yeah, you're definitely an employee.
Yeah.
You're not only a member of the Hair Club for Men, you're also the president.
Now here's the thing. Whoever comes up with the best answer, or whoever not answer, but the best slogan for our T-shirt.
Whoever gets, which even if it's not the best, if it's the one that gets chosen.
If right, that's what I meant.
Okay.
If it's the one that gets chosen, you, my friend, will get a free T-shirt from the Hebrew channel.
However, we're going to put the one that you didn't choose on the T-shirt we send you. No, just kidding.
Right. And not only that, but listen to this. Listen to this real quick. We will take the winner. They will get a very special T-shirt. They will get their name put on the back of the T-shirt.
Well, will we put their real name or their YouTube name or whichever one they choose?
With their YouTube name, of course.
Oh, okay.
I mean, well, if they want their real name on it, they can. Yeah, I guess we could do that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. They could gift it, and they could tell us whatever name they tell us to put on there. We'll put it on there.
Sure. But I think that would be an awesome contest. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up to you earlier.
That's okay.
So,
but we are going on 2 hours now. We'll have to tell them more about it later.
More details on this week's Shifty Sunday. So make sure you guys tune in to this week's Shifty Sunday. For everyone here at the Hebrew channel, this has been Hebrew 77 along with Sagittarically Speaking. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. And now I got to hit that end broadcast button. Yes, I want to end my broadcast. Thank you very much. And where